Hello and welcome to LARP News, where we rejoin Dave's epic adventures of LARP Rockstardom, going through this time to Ragnarok, right?
Yeah, Beyond Ragnarok.
Beyond Ragnarok, not just Ragnarok.
No, it's beyond it. So, so this LARP is like a new system for me. It's a Fest LARP, so it's kind of like obviously nowhere near on the scale of Empire, which is getting to ludicrously large numbers. But like it's a Fest LARP. How
many people was it? Was it like?
I would love to guesstimate, but people kind of spread out. I'd say a couple of hundred.
Yeah,
like that sort of vibe. Like it wasn't massive, but there was enough people to kind of like walk around and explore the world. But that we're getting ahead of ourselves. So Callum, because he lives up north, had been banging on about how great this fucking LARP was forever. And when Callum is like, he bangs and bangs and bangs and bangs and bangs on until it's like, fine, Callum, we'll fucking go to your LARP that's really close to your fucking house. What a surprise, you're so fucking interested in going. It's a Viking LARP, so it's all kind of like old Norse mythology, and I was like, okay, Vikings in the modern era have a fairly negative view in my eyes, right? Like there's some pretty, like people that want to be Vikings in my head are like kind of like dicks, right? Like, you know, there's a lot of...
Where's that from?
So like... A lot of white supremacists love that stuff, right? They co-opt all the runes and they do all this stuff, right? Like, it's kind of like one of those things. It's got a bit of a bad rep. And I'm not the only one that thinks this way.
Okay.
However, like, spoilers for the rest of the episode, Beyond Ragnarok is an excellent LARP. Full of the nicest people. Like, it's... I was so genuinely impressed. Okay, so we'll do a bit of pre-LARP. We've been talking about it obviously for a while. Bear in mind, throughout all of this process, I have no more holiday left. I have no more room for LARP. I am going to make Callum happy, and then hate on the LARP and never need to go ever again. Right?
And it's backfired, hasn't it?
Well, it's colossally backfired. So our little group, I went with Ellie and Callum and Bung.
Yeah.
And we are the Rakflagi, which means moist companions.
Okay.
And we're like, so, okay, but and bear in mind, I'm going to get the lore wrong. I'm going to get the rules wrong. Right. This is like Dave version, having been there one weekend, okay? So, Ragnarok has happened.
Yeah.
The Midheim, which is the world we live in now, was destroyed apart from one area that was kept underneath a magic bubble or something.
Okay.
But the rest of the people on Midheim separated out to these multiple different realms, okay? And they make up the different, like, nations, as it were, at this LARP. We are from Svartheim, which is, like, and we are... So there are these elves that live in Svartheim.
Right.
We played humans. Yeah. The free folk, we're called.
Yeah. Does everybody play as a human?
No.
No.
Like, literally half of the Svarts were actual Svarts, which are like elves.
Right.
There are also Jotun, who are like... Some of them wear like animal masks. There's like a whole bunch of different flavours of them. I'm going to tell you the ones I interacted with because I don't know all the lore, but there's like, they're kind of like... but they're friendly to us as well. Each of the realms have their own unique flavour and politics and engagement in the world. But basically, we're all kind of we are all on the same team. Basically,
right?
There are gods who walk among us. Right. There are a bunch of stuff which we'll introduce everyone to as we go. But we are the free folk. Our little group is called the Rakflagi. Basically, our group in Svartheim when Ragnarok happened, some humans went to Svartheim,
Right.
and the elves were like, "You are welcome to be here, but we're going to stay in our cities,
Yeah.
and you can survive in the wilds."
Okay.
Okay,
Right.
so we're called the Free Folk, but there was a kind of like undertone of like, well, you're not really free, are you? Because you don't get to go and do. You're not like equals to anyone. In fact, you're like a second-class citizen that has to kind of stick to yourselves type thing.
Right.
But we talked about it a lot, and we basically came up with this idea that we were going to be like fish folk. Like we live by the coast and pick up stuff that we find there.
Right.
We live on boats. We have lots of fish.
Right.
So I was talking to Callum, and we came up with the idea of buying some fake fish.
Okay. Right.
It started off as just something to have.
Yeah.
And that's how I started the event, was like, I'm just going to bring a load of fish, hand out a few fish to my Rakfalagi homies, and then we'll kind of play it from there, you know?
Yeah.
You obviously helped me finish my armour off.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Which is the long overdue to be finished leather lamlar.
Yeah.
You don't know what lamlar is? It's made up of tiny little plates.
Yeah. They're all attached together.
Yeah, you explained it. You designed it.
Yeah, so there's lots of little plates that are basically attached together. In your case, by paracord. The whole, it's all leather. You've been plugging away on it for quite a while, but I think you'd basically finished. You just had to take it over the last line. So
it was the putting it together. I couldn't handle the having to sew it all together, basically. Oh my god, it drove me nuts, and I was just like, I'm so miserable. I'm never going to finish this.
Yeah. Oh, it's fine. I just sat out and watched a couple of movies and did it over a couple of evenings.
Ian's such a nice person. He literally thanked me for the project. Like, that's the nature of our relationship.
I enjoy it. I find any of this kind of stuff, it's kind of good mental health. It kind of gives me something to do.
Yeah, legend.
So, thank you.
But yeah, it came out really, really well. The leather bits around the outside need a little bit of a trim.
I need to do something like that. It was difficult because I was making it, and it's tough to make something for somebody when you don't really have all of their measurements and you're just kind of eyeballing it.
Dude, it was so good. Yeah. I just felt a little bit Tina Turner-ish from Beyond the Thunderdome. The power shoulders. So I did sing a few Tina Turner songs while I was at the event. But so we came up with names. So we named each of us, like, in the Rakfalagi lore, we decided that when you come of age, you choose your own name.
Right.
So we all named ourselves after different fish, which represent our personalities.
Amazing.
So we had Minnow, which was Ellie.
Right.
We had Orca, which was Callum.
Yeah.
Bungle went for Kraken.
Okay.
And I went for Stingray.
Amazing.
And they just called me Ray the entire time. And I introduced myself as... this is one thing. We'd talked a lot about accents.
Right.
Okay, like, what accent are we going to do? We're going to try and go for like a Scandinavian thing. And I'd spent pretty much like the week before kind of practicing my Scandinavian, which I'm not very good at. And it's like a new thing, so I was trying to challenge myself.
Yeah.
And then there was chat about maybe going Scottish, and I was like, I can kind of do, not for Scottish people, obviously, it's terrible for Scottish people, but for me, I can do it, you know, it's like I can pull it off. I get there and they're like, say hello. And I respond in a kind of Scandinavian accent, and they're like, we didn't mention, slight change to the accents. I'm like, what? Oh my god, are we going West Country? And it's gosh. Because there was this whole vibe that they talked about where we were kind of inbred because we were all on the same, like a small family that had kind of expanded a bit.
This sounds very, very contentious.
I apologise.
That's immediately stereotypical.
I know, and it's going to upset some people.
You're terrible people.
West Country are good people, and they will therefore see the funny side of this. But we started calling each other sister cousin and brother cousin, and that's what we called each other, like, as a rule. What?
Terrible people.
It was pretty.
Sure it's pretty.
It was pretty fucking funny. Right. And then so I had to ditch the idea of doing these other things, and also the accent does have a kind of humorous note to it.
Yeah.
So
it kind of lends to a sort of
certain thing. And
I think like it's a bit like the only Scottish I can do is like a Billy Connolly Scottish, and
Glaswegian.
But like specifically Billy Connolly.
You do a Billy Connolly impression,
essentially, which is like when the only Scottish accent you can do is a Billy Connolly, it kind of lends to a certain a certain way of being.
Yeah, I wish I could do. There's like really soft. I can't remember which area of Scotland it's from, but it's a really soft,
an Edinburgh kind of
like
accent,
it's
like a really.
I can't remember, but there are some beautiful
yes.
Scottish accents. But all I do is really brisk, like anyway, so I was Stingray. You can call me Sting or Ray, depending on your persuasion. Okay. And that was my whole shtick. That's how I introduced myself to everyone. So I arrive late because I had work. So I had to wait until I finished work, and it's like I think it took me around 2.5 hours. It's near Wigan, basically, up north. So it's in between Liverpool and Manchester, basically. Right. It's around that sort of ballpark area.
It wasn't so bad.
It wasn't bad. I took the toll up because it was like 25 minutes quicker, so that was fine. But bear in mind, I'm driving up, I'm listening to my audiobook, and I'm like, I've had a full day at work. Yeah. I'm knackered. I'm like, okay, let's just get through this. Yeah. And then I never need to go back to Beyond Ragnarok ever again. Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to go up there, get it done.
Yeah. How'd that pan out for you?
Well, okay, it's pissing it down.
Okay.
It's like raining cats and dogs. It's really raining. I get there. There's no one in the car park. And I got in trouble for this. The car park man gave me some shit on the Sunday when I left for not having registered my car. There wasn't anyone there, and he said that there was a sign when I went to God, but I feel like his world is very much the car park, and it's very important to him that you register. So if you go, make sure you register, or the car park man will give you some shit. So that's just one point. So I park up. I'm not going to get my gear out yet because I don't know where I'm going. I walk up the hill, and it's at this scout. It's like a scout camping area.
Right.
Scout camps are really good LARP sites. They have all the key ingredients that you need. Right. So it had toilets, showers, some actual buildings that they used for God. It has some woods. It has some nice open spaces. It was a really nice site. Kind of undulating hills. Really good site, and it's kind of split up into little camping areas. So each of the different realms are camped separately.
Sure.
So I get there. I see a couple of players, and I say to them, "Hey, do you know where I can go?" And they're like, "Oh, go to God. They'll be able to sort you out." Went to God. Immediately, by the way, the professionalism and like it immediately super friendly, super organized. I introduced myself, so it's my first event. I was like, "Hey, for some people that maybe haven't fully read the rules before getting here, can you just give me some ballpark kind of like blah blah blah?" And we had a bit of a chat off. They radioed one of the NPC characters, so I think each nation has at least one member of staff looking after it and making sure that everybody's engaged in what's happening, or I shouldn't say is kinda engaged,
like an egregore,
but more, I don't know, like an Empire. It's a very big game. Like, I'm friends with a couple of the egregores, and I barely speak to them. Like, I barely see them, and that's not a criticism of them. It's just like there's so many more people, right? And whereas they radioed through, the guy came walking through the fucking pissing rain, come to pick me up to make sure I could get back. Okay,
that's awesome.
I was like, he was like, "Oh, who are you with?" And I was just like, blah blah blah. And he's like, "Oh, you here with the fish people?" And I'm like, yes, that's who I'm with. So he walks me through the rain, takes me back to the camp.
Are you Are we time in at this point? Or are we time out?
It's time in.
Oh,
it's like, it's dark.
Right.
Like, in British summertime. So it's like, I think I got there around 10, 9:30, 10ish, something like that.
Okay, so they've already played, like, the beginning of the Friday.
Well, their time in, I feel like, bear in mind, I wasn't there, but I get the feeling it's kind of like a soft roll in on the Friday night, which I actually quite like it a lot.
Okay.
It's kind of like, I don't know that for sure, by the way. Don't take everything I'm happening, especially when I wasn't there. But I get there. The Svarts, the elves, have their own section, and the free folk, we have our own section as well. We're very much segregated. I get there. I have a chat off. I end up bunking up with Bung, so I don't need to mess around with a tent. I just need to get my gear, get it in the tent, get my clothes on, and then get out there.
Nice.
And I do this in fairly quick order. The camp quality, very high.
Right.
Okay, like there was a big communal awning. In the free folk, everyone was so up for engaging and helping you get into the game. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like, everyone's so polite and friendly. Everyone's like really handy with information, lore, wanting to know what you're into, what parts of the game's happening, what, like, they were, and this is players as well, this isn't just NPCs. Everyone was like really up for giving us the game we wanted. Like, if you wanted to just have a chill time, and we did really have, majority of the time, have a chill time, but I was blown away by how accommodating everyone was. Like I hate to bang on about it, but that was like the big takeaway from this weekend was professionalism, friendly, how they wanted to spread game, interact with the NPC characters. Everything's designed for you to, if you want to, get involved, you know? And it was really refreshing to have this, honestly, staggering. Yeah. Like, so good. I have to give a mad shout out to the guy who was playing, the guy that was kind of looking after us in the Free Folk. He was very good. He was so helpful, really passionate about it, wanted us to, like, because I got there and I was just like, I barely knew anything about the game.
Right.
And he was just like, here's this, here's that, here's the situation, here's who you are, here's blah, blah, blah. And we go through everything. And it was like so helpful. My Rat Flaggy folk had made a stew, which they put me in a bowl, which I managed to get down me. So mad props to the fucking homies, you know. Yeah. Beer and some food when you first arrive.
That's
like,
what you want.
After a long drive, it's nice. So we're like, we hang out, have a beer, introduce ourselves to a few folks, and they're like, there's a mead hall, okay, which is like a large barn-like structure. And they're like, that's a good place to go to if you just want to interact with people and see what's going on. Sure. You can have a walk around the different camps and see the different realms, and they go through the different realms and what they all do. And I was just like, this is fucking cool. So we get our gear together and then head down to the mead hall. Bear in mind, it's pissing it down with rain. Yeah. But it was a solid structure with a roof and a big communal area. So it's big. Like, you can fit everyone in there, which was really handy because, let me try and paint the picture. At the end of the room, there's like a throne. To the side, there's some seating area. To the other side, there's, I think, some sort of NPC who can help you do things. I think that's like one of the areas that you can do some sort of crafting with. They also do that at God. But along inside are long tables with benches, like a fucking mead hall, right? Amazing. Like, and they run. There's two run parallel all the way down the hall with like, and everyone sits around them. There's a real bar off to the side. Guys who ran the bar, again, really fucking friendly. Yeah. You can buy nice beer by the pint or buy a jug. We discovered the jug later on, and we got into those jugs pretty fiercely. Just very, very nice facilities for a LARP. Yeah. Because it meant, like, we've all been to LARPs where it's raining.
Yeah.
What do?
Yeah.
We at Empire stay under the awning, light a fire, have a chinwag with our mates, but our ability to engage with everyone else is a lot more reduced, right? Here, everyone just comes down the mead hall. Right. So you're seeing all these different folks and carrying on. So I brought my fish with me. And everyone bought a fish.
Describe your fish. Like, what are these? Like, are these prop fish? Essentially?
Yeah.
Like...
what sort of fish have I got? Hold on, folks. He's in the corner. Hold on.
He's running off.
Okay.
Oh wow. Okay.
So this is Callum's fish.
Okay.
And this is my fish. I can't remember
what
sort
like
of fish
foam
this is.
fish.
Yeah, they're really good, aren't they? As you can see, they have taken a bit of a battering.
They have.
My fish, who I basically, I got there and I started talking to someone. I think it might have been the first person I spoke to or second person I spoke to. They were like, "What's your fish's name?" And I just plucked the name Eddie out of thin air.
Okay.
So my fish, Eddie.
Okay.
And while I'm talking to people, I would stroke Eddie. Eddie would talk to me. Eddie is a really big part of my weekend.
Okay.
And I love Eddie.
Okay.
So yeah, I just got them off Amazon. They're like
were great
fish. Yeah. I had a bunch of little fish as well. So Minnow had a little fish, and it was fun.
Dude, what did Bungle have as Kraken?
I can't remember. I think he had a little fish as well.
Yeah.
I think a little fish. So we're all basically just being real silly buggers with the fish, okay?
Right.
So we're talking about our fish and how great fish are. There's a notice board with so there's going to be this big competition over the weekend, and you can sign up for different events.
Right.
And I'm yelling, going, Minnow, and just to wind Ellie up, right? Just to wind Ellie up. And she's like, "What do you want to sign up for?" And I'm like, "Well, I can't read, you see." And it was just like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, "Oh, just sign me up for everything, okay? just sign me up for everything." So Ellie goes around, Minnow, I should say, and signs me up for a few different things, okay?
Right.
And bear in mind, we get into our cups pretty fast.
Okay.
I think, we fired into the Jim Bongo as well, which we're changing the recipe of, which is good.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were pretty raring to go at that stage.
Sure.
Chatting to a few people, I see there's a lady there who's got a badger mask, right? And I walk up to her and go, "Would it be a rude question if I asked you what you are?" And it's like, "Oh, I'm a Jotun." Okay. Like, "Oh, right." And I go, "There's this lady there, she's very pretty, wearing this red. It's a red wig, right. But she's got flowers on her head and stuff." And I'm like, so I'm talking to her, and she's called Estro. Either way, they both humour me. Really, really nice. I'm having fun. I'm talking to Eddie. They I think they give the impression that they're pretty powerful entities, the people I'm talking to, okay? But very friendly.
Okay.
So, after a bit of time, we're just going around chatting to people, being silly.
Yeah.
And then this war band walks in.
Right.
Okay? Led by Hell.
Okay, what, the god?
The god Hell.
Right.
Okay? Obviously, Hell's pretty scary.
Yeah.
In the lore, I get the feeling that Hell's keeping part of reality together at this stage.
Right.
After Ragnarok, but she's still a very intimidating, she had henchmen, and all the henchmen are dead folk.
Right. Like Draugr kind of stuff.
They are Draugr.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they walk in and they head to the front, and then there's some chat. I'm not close enough to hear what the chat is.
Yeah.
And then one of the players is goes a little too close to Hell, and Hell just strikes him down.
Right.
Just boom, and he falls out. And then physic him up, whatever. Oh, this is another really cool. I'm going to get loads of rules wrong, but this is one rule I do remember, which is really fun. When you die,
right?
Something happened when we came through. What's the female deity called? Freya.
Yeah, that's Freya. Yeah.
When you came through the Bifrost back to Midheim,
right?
Freya gave you each a gift, and this gift is: first time you go down to 0 hit points, you have 3 minutes bleed time.
Okay.
When you get to that, you die,
right,
and then go back through the gate or whatever. Then you come back. Next time you're back, you have a 2-minute timer.
Oh, okay.
Then the next time you come back, you have a 1-minute timer.
Right.
Like, love this.
Yeah.
It's so good. They also, their refs are called Valkyries. They have really distinctive stuff. There were so many aspects to game design that were in the world, non-intrusive. Everyone's a point of contact and full of information and wants to help you. Anyway, I'll stop banging on about how fucking good the systems were. But yeah, Hell's there.
Yeah.
They're chatting on to some of our more, like, I think they're NPC characters, but they're like the big whoops of the kind of people there. And I see this one bearded fellow, who's a Draugr.
Right.
And I kind of make my way through the crowd, and I go to him, "Excuse me, my name's Stingray. You can call me Sting or Ray, depending on your persuasion." And this guy just looks at me, doesn't say a word, right? Yeah. He's just like, you know. And I go, "I hate to bother you. I don't have a problem with you, but my fish Eddie here, he doesn't like you very much."
Right.
And he's a good judge of character, but I just wanted to see whether we could talk to you, and we could set Eddie right on you being a nice person or not. And this guy just stared at me the entire time. Right. And I'm like, all right, you know. And then eventually they all leave, and I'm like, well, that one Draugr fella, he seemed all right, didn't he? Eddie didn't like him too much, but I'll have to try and chat to him at another stage. So the evening goes on. It's raining. We're being silly. Like, we hold our fish underneath the raindrops to keep our fish moist. Generally have an absolute hoot. That evening, we go for a little walk around the camp. Bear in mind, we're pretty buzzed at this stage, having a good time. But we see Hell in a camp.
Okay.
And Hell is having a meeting with one of these groups. So I walk over there. Oh, Justin's there, by the way. Who's a friend from Empire. Yeah. Really good guy. But that was nice just to see a friendly face or whatever. So I walk up there and I'm kind of waiting patiently. Well, trying to wait patiently. Yeah. And then we find another camp because they're really chatting. And then we sit down with them, have a couple of drinks. And then I head back again. And then I'm like, I'm sorry. Excuse me, Hell. I hate to bother you. My name's Stingray.
Right, okay.
You can call me Sting or Ray, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I hope you don't mind me asking, but there was one of your guards.
Right.
Now, I don't have a problem with the fella, bear in mind. Not a problem at all. But my fish Eddie here didn't like him very much. So I was wondering whether it would be possible to kind of talk it out. Maybe a luncheon? Okay.
Okay.
And she was like, looked at me like, fucking hell, what is this? And then she was just like, get out. And I was like, all right, just asking, if you see him, see if he wants to go for luncheon. I head off. We have a really fun night, hanging out, meeting lots of nice folks. There was lots of nice folks. I'll keep banging on about that. We end up going to bed, and in the morning, Ellie has got there's certain. So my ability. So each of you have a certain ability when you at character creation. You get a free skill, and I'm
okay.
It's spelled Galdr, but I think it's a Galfir.
Okay.
It's how it It's Anyway, my ability is to range disarm someone.
Well, that's cool.
So I say, by the power of the rune, disarm right hand or whatever, or disarm your sword.
Do you just point at them, or
basically you have runes, and there's the only currency is runes.
Okay.
So there's no coinage,
Right.
and the runes are what you use to do things.
Okay.
So for me, I rip a rune, and then rip a rune. That sounds weird.
Yeah.
You rip a rune, and then for 10 minutes, I have 3 casts of this ability.
Okay.
I had like 4 runes in my pack. Each of the runes are different. For my purposes, I can just rip them. It doesn't mean anything to me. But for other people, different runes have different meanings, and you need like 5 of these and 2 of these, or blah blah blah, to do certain things. There are other bits of material, like there are higher end stuff, and I think it was Friday we heard about if you break down a bunch of runes to make a special thing, it creates rune dust. So we got into the idea that we were going to try and do this so we could snort some rune dust.
Okay.
Just to see what it would do.
Okay.
We didn't do that, but that's still an ongoing
plot
that we
line.
would like to combine the resources.
So this is a spoiler that you're kind of thinking of going back then.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. So in the morning, the reason why I mentioned all the class stuff is Ellie's character is some sort of scavenger, that she can find resources. I think Bung had that as well. I think, what did he have? He had metal, some sort of metals. Yeah. So we find like a guy who's wearing like a Jotun mask, and he's got a little lad with him. He was only a little lad. I think he was 5, something like 5 or 6.
Okay.
He's wearing little cute ears, and his name's Wolfie. Okay, and he's a little chap, and it's basically him and his dad going around, and it's his first LARP ever. Could not tell it was his first LARP ever, because this little lad was an absolute boss. Yeah. He's like, we're going to go and look for resources down here. So we all set off together and go to the woods. So wholesome. There are these so for metal there were like rocks and boulders, and then for other stuff, and basically what you do is you look underneath them and find a little resource card, and then you take those resource cards to God and they exchange it for materials. Right. Really nice, really simple. And we just had a lovely hour or 2
time scavenging, just
walking around. Wolfie was really keen. You can only carry so much. This is another good rule. Yeah. You can only carry so many resources on you. Okay. So if you're going around scavenging, you can't just rinse everything and that's it. Sure. You can only carry a certain amount. Really good game design. So Wolfie, who's full of stuff, is running around trying to find stuff for people who can carry stuff. Right.
That's nice. Yeah, so calling people over and getting them to carry things. Yeah.
They're also part of the free folk as well. So we wander around to have this lovely day. We go down to the other side of the site, which has like a lake on it and some rolling hills. We don't find any resources there, but I get the feeling like the crew go around and refill those.
Yeah, repopulate.
Yeah, really nice. At some point, my back starts to go. For those that are listening to it for the first time, I've had a lot of problems with my back. My back gets very upset at this stage. So I'm kind of like I'm in pain. I'm kind of miserable. I have to stretch out a lot. People kept coming up and asking if I was okay. Like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I just got a problem with my back type thing. And they're like, oh, cool. Really nice. Ellie went and found me some painkillers, which did me no end of good. But then they have a food van there. They also have a couple of LARP producers. Okay. So there were weapons for sale. Oh, nice. A couple other bits. That's cool. I think there were 2, very small scale, but nice to have. Yeah. I need to get a sword. I need to get
emergency
whatever.
Stuff, right?
Yeah. We also got given cards. So these cards are like character sheets, and you need to have them visible on your person at all times. Right. It was quite nice, actually, because it kind of meant, I have my rules right here. I can have a quick reference to what they do. In the morning, I also had to go to a bow safety meeting.
Oh, yes, because you chose to do archery.
Oh, yeah, I chose to do archery. Oh, my God. Ryan lent me his bow.
Yeah.
Between Callum and Ellie, they lent me some arrows. Had to go to this meeting and was like, the guy was really, really good. So it was just me, because I think most people had done it yesterday.
Yeah.
He went for a safety briefing with me. He checked the poundage on it.
Yeah.
We literally went through safety stuff, but he also did really good stuff. Like he went through why the arrows are the way they are, what they're constructed from.
Yeah.
So this is how they're made. This is the different bits in it.
Yeah.
And he goes through everything. And it was like a really good education. Like I was like, I did not know that. I did not know that this was made up of lots of different elements that give different levels of protection and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, this is excellent. Anyway, I passed my safety thing because obviously, like a boss. But I think the guy was Steven, something like that. But thank you to that guy. He was very, very professional, very, very informative.
Yeah.
So I passed. When you pass, you get a stick, like a little card that says, I've done the course.
Yeah.
And another card that you attach to your bow. So it's a really nice system to be like, I'm safe to fire a bow and my bow is safe.
Yeah.
Again, very, very good. So this is when I start like finding out, we go shopping and then there's this, so we see all these guys walk over to one of the other camps, like a whole shitload of them.
Okay.
Right? And I'm like, oh, what's going on with that? I'm chatting to this guy, this other guy, this random guy, who's carrying a bowl of snacks.
Okay.
I'm chatting to him, I'm like, oh, that kind of looks like it's about to kick off.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, that's my camp actually. And it's like, then it does kick off, and he's like, would you mind holding this? So I take the snacks.
Okay.
I'm standing there watching this big old Barney while everyone else is in the shop.
Yeah.
So they all come out and like, where did you get a bowl of snacks from? And I'm like, just
these things just happen to me.
Yeah, I just got a bowl of snacks. So I sat there munching away on these snacks, and everyone else kind of had to go at these snacks as well.
Yeah.
And they had this big old Barney with a bunch of these Draugr guys, and the Draugr guys kept on like respawning and coming back in from different angles.
Okay. So it's like a proper fight then. Sorry.
Oh, like it was a big old fight. Yeah. Looked really good.
Yeah.
Like really, really fun.
So who are the bad guys? Like, what is the enemy in this whole setting?
I want to say the Draugr are the baddies,
right,
under the umbrella of hell. But I get the feeling that there are many, and things aren't that simple. Like, bear in mind, the competition that we were having with all these different competitions that we were part of was to whichever team won would have like a 20-on-20 rumble with Hell's representatives.
Okay.
And bear in mind, Hell can walk freely in the camp. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I would love to find out. You know, it's
like,
one of those parts of the game, I think, that you can kind of explore.
Are there like battles? Like,
yes.
Or is it? Yeah.
Yeah. So there are lots of. I get the feeling there are encounters.
Yeah.
There was a big battle on the Sunday.
Right.
There was this obviously big Barney that was. It wasn't random.
Yeah.
Like things were happening, and as a result, there was a big Barney. Right. So players are very active in. And I felt this was one of the things about the design was because there's so many NPCs mixed among the player base, also playing these different characters like gods or whatever.
Yeah.
That they can feed back information to the game team very quickly,
right,
and act very dynamically within the game over the weekend, which is amazing, right? Really, really cool. So, it's this Barney. I put the snacks down somewhere because after a while, we have to head off.
Yeah.
I talked to Ellie, and it's like, oh, I've signed you up for Liar's Dice.
Amazing.
Sign me up for what was it? The archery competition.
Amazing.
Oh my god, the archery competition though, Ian.
Yeah.
I can't hit a barn door, by the way. I am truly garbage at firing a bow.
Right.
Like, I've done it a few times, like just practicing at different LARPs. I am terrible.
Yeah.
I borrowed Orion's bow. It's like a £20, 21.
Yeah.
It's very poof. Like, it's not a very powerful bow. So I was like, a competition.
Yeah.
This is bad.
You have a great time.
Yeah. Then we signed up for Dagger Tag.
Amazing.
Which sounds a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then there was a bardic inspiration competition.
Amazing.
And I was like, but I can't sing. I also don't have anything prepped at all for that. And this is at like 6 o'clock, and it's just hanging over me like, oh my God, like I have to come up with some shit.
Right.
Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. The rain stopped.
Right.
But the wind came in.
Okay.
And the wind destroyed Ellie's tarp, which we were having around the camp. The guys did a great job. We had like fish, netting up for fish. It was a really good camp setup. I should mention this. When everyone arrived, they all helped everyone else put the camp up. When the awning collapsed because of the wind, the rest of the people in the camp helped. We weren't there.
Yeah.
They came running over and went, oh, by the way, your tarp's collapsed.
Yeah.
We've secured it all down.
Yeah.
And made sure it's all safe.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Cool.
Like,
yeah.
Like, there's a real communal atmosphere. Well, at least I should say this is from my perspective in the Free Folk.
Yeah.
Very, very communal, very helpful. Like, we were talking about resources, and they were like, if you need resources for a thing, let us know. And we were like, we would also like to help if we have any resources that you need. Please let us know. Like, so very, a lot less kind of like, it's my resources and my thing and my game. It was an entirely different attitude from that. Very, very good. Anyway, the wind was very, very heavy at that point. I then go off and play Liar's Dice. It's a large game of Liar's Dice. There are 2 tables made up of, I think it was like 6 or 8 people. They had to change the rules slightly, so it was basically a knockout game. I was like asking Eddie advice on what I should be doing with the dice.
Yeah.
I got my maths a little mixed up because I was like, how many players are there? 5 dice each. So on average is this many. And I basically went like, I think 2 over. I think I said 7 somethings.
Yeah.
And that was clearly like too high. It was too high a bet. Yeah. And I got knocked out first round because...
Listen,
Eddie's
you're there for a good time.
Eddie's not very good at lying. Yeah. Okay? Like, he's just not very good at lying. Neither am I.
Yeah.
So that's just the way it goes. So I got knocked out of Liar's Dice pretty quickly. Ellie and Bung go off, I should say, Minnow and Kraken go off, and they're going to go and play a game of Cub, which I don't know if you know. It's basically, you have these wooden... what they call like pinions. You put them out on 2 lines to either team.
Oh, I do know this.
And then you throw sticks at them to knock them over.
Yeah.
Okay. So the weather kind of brightens up a little bit, and me and Callum go and get some food.
Yeah.
We wander back, and they're playing Cub.
Yeah.
And we sit down, and that's like, how's it going? To some people that are also watching.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, it's been going on a while.
Right.
Okay. Very few points have been scored. They've had to set up the second game going on with the first game. They're going to do a game at a time, but because it was taking so long, they set up another game, which was where Ellie and Bung were playing. And so I'm sitting with Callum, and we're talking about like the bardic competition. And there was a point where we were talking about making up a song, and me and Callum were basically spitballing ideas to each other. And the idea of a small fish falling in love with a whale came up. Right. So we started talking about that. Callum didn't end up joining me for a song. Right. So, but I'll get to that. Yeah. So
you genesised an idea.
Yes. The little proto idea was formed at this stage, and that kind of grew a little bit throughout the day. But me and Callum, we're sitting there, and we just start heckling the referee.
Right.
There's a poor man doing his damnedest with this game that will never end, and we just start booing him and yelling all sorts of abuse at him. And he was a great sport about it. He immediately got that we were just being silly and having fun. But we had an absolute whale of a time
Yeah.
yelling abuse and cheering our team on and all this stuff, right?
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
really good fun. We had the best time, and the referee, bless his heart, after it was all said and done, did come up and give us a hug, and it was like, you bastards owe me a drink, and it's like, I think that's very fair, but yeah, we heckled him constantly. Come on, referee! What are you doing, ref? And like over everything. Then we started clapping him and cheering him on. Then we give him more abuse. This went on for this game of Cub went on for hours. It was a very long time. We even missed Dagger Tag because it ran over so much that we missed Dagger Tag. We didn't care. Yeah. We had the best time, and we were just being creative with fun story ideas, hanging out with some nice folks. Then it came later on. It came time for the archery competition.
Right.
Yeah.
How'd it go?
Well, bear in mind it's windy.
Okay.
And I was like, what's it going to be? And it was I think it called itself Combat Archery.
Okay.
But I kind of expected that we were going to rock up there.
Yeah.
A target.
Yeah.
You shoot at the target.
Right.
Everyone takes a few steps back. You fire another shot at the target.
Yeah.
You know the classic, what we've done in the past?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There is two, and they're next to each other, they're touching, 10 metre by 10 metre bits made out with rope on the floor. Two archers enter, one in each square. You were each given 5 arrows.
Okay.
First one to 3 hits wins.
Okay.
This is genius.
Yeah.
We should do this everywhere. This is how an archery competition should be run. Fuck hitting a target. Archery is more than hitting a target. It is working under stress.
Yeah.
So I've got my bow. I'm shoot a couple of arrows just to make sure I know how to shoot. Ellie's being really helpful with how I should do my hand, how I should draw the bow, yada, 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 right? And we take it in turns. I think all the Rat Flaggy won at least one round.
Amazing.
Yeah. I go out there. I've got my 5 arrows and a bow, right?
Okay.
So Callum's explained to me how I can hold the arrows all in one hand.
Okay.
And then fire them off as I go.
Yeah.
I'm I can barely make the bow thing happen.
Right.
So I walk around the square and I drop off my arrows in different areas of the square.
Right.
And then I load one up into the bow.
Right.
And the first guy, I take him on, and basically I had the tactic of when they shoot, I bum rush up to the front of my line and try and take a shot.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be able to out archery the person.
Sure.
But I can and I got my dodge on.
Yeah.
I was
dodgeball.
It's dodgeball.
Yeah.
Literally dodgeball. And I was dodging. It is literally dodgeball, isn't it? Yeah.
There's archery tag basically, which is very similar to
it was fucking dope, dude.
It's cool, dude.
I was leaping and jumping and grabbing arrows and all that shit. Anyway, I won my first round.
Yes, dude.
Dude.
Yes.
I had an absolute hoot.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
Like shooting the arrows.
There are proper archery tag things you can go to, by the way. It's cool.
No.
Okay, but it's a one-time thing.
I had a good time. Yeah. Let's archery at LARP. Pay to win. I bravely stood behind the people fighting and shot some people with an arrow.
You talk a lot of shit to
That's
somebody.
archery.
Yeah.
It was good though.
Yeah.
I did end up with a bruise.
Yeah.
The size of my hand on my my arm.
I've seen a lot worse, to be fair. You got to weigh quite light compared to how bad it can be.
Yeah. Also, my thumb was pretty janked.
Yeah.
I basically misfired a bunch.
Yeah.
And also, I was too busy concentrating on dodging and weaving and trying to do this stuff. Like, I misfired a bunch, like a lot when I was doing it.
It's a lot, actually. That's one of the things. Operating under pressure and keeping cool is actually quite a skill.
Well, I think if I just practiced and then got used to the mechanics of using the bow, so it's a bit like driving a car, right? Like when you first get behind the wheel of a car, you're constantly thinking about the clutch and shifting gears. You're not thinking about driving the car. You're thinking about mechanics. As you learn, it becomes automatic, and I think I was a lot more in that stage than
for sure.
But it was really good.
Good for you, dude.
We all got knocked out eventually. I got knocked out in the second round. The guy was just a significantly better archer than I was.
Yeah.
But also, shout out to that guy. Very friendly.
Yeah.
We shook hands before we started, shook hands afterwards and gave each other a hug. It was really nice. A few people ran out of bounds and were like, no, I ran out of bounds.
Yeah.
Like, and immediately let people know that they'd lost, and it was like really good. The difference in poundage of bows, I would say, though, makes a dramatic difference. The guy that won it, his arrows were like fodonk. You know what I mean? Like fodonk.
I assume, is it £30 is the limit?
It was £30. Yeah. But his were like boom, like on a fucking rail. Mine were like poof. You know what I mean? Like really, just like a little not that I'm taking away from the quality of the archer. Clearly, he knows what he's doing. But so then we're wandering around. We find out that the Svart are going off to have a fight with some people because of us. They're like fighting for our right to exist.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was nice. There is this purple fella,
Okay.
Dressed
in purple?
He's purple skin.
Oh, okay. Right.
And like he's like one of the top boys in the Svarts.
Okay.
But he's
an elf?
Yeah.
Right.
He's a little prejudiced, Ian.
Okay.
He does not talk to humans.
Okay.
And we kind of said hello to him, and he ignored us a couple of times. Then we heard that this is what happens, that he doesn't talk to humans. So we were aggressively polite to him. Every time we walked past him, hello there, are you having a good day? Blah, blah, blah. Every time we saw the guy, we were just aggressively friendly to him, just to try and drive him nuts. And it worked. It was really fun.
Amazing.
But yeah, our Svart homies went off and did some fighting. I don't know whether they won or not. But hey, they fought for us, so we appreciate that. We then started toasting in the bar. This is when we discovered it comes in 4 pints. So we got jugs and we were drinking and having fun, and I was just like, oh my god, like at this point I'm getting a little bit nervous because it's getting towards story time,
right?
And I'm like, or sing time, and I'm like, I need a piece of paper. There was a really nice lady there who went off and helped. She actually got a story for us back at the camp and like brought it back, and I was just like, this is good, but like I need to come up with my own thing. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, how am I going to do this story? And then I kind of had an idea for like a gag at the end of the story. Right. And then I was like, I just need to get from here to here. And that's all I have to do.
Sure.
So we all, so we start, okay?
Right.
And the competition is like very good. So there's one guy, he plays like a recorder. It's the first time he ever performed in public. I was like, dude, he was clearly nervous, but fucking nailed it, right? They had singers. This like Justin sang a song.
Amazing.
And obviously
Justin's so good.
His voice is like a fucking loudspeaker. And he literally was like, he sang his song and then went, I need to go fight, and then just left, okay? Callum gave him some shit because he was one of the people that was talking to Hell. Right. And there was like a bit of drama. I'm not sure how much I shouldn't even mention that.
Interesting.
So Hell, like, was chatting to people within the camp.
Okay.
And there was a Jotun lady who sang wonderfully, who is one of the ladies in the brass coast that does a octopus play.
Right. Yeah.
Very...
obviously
she
talented.
Smiles all the time.
Yeah.
She's one of the nicest, happiest people. She was playing the Cub game as well.
Yeah.
Like, everyone at this stage is getting like frustrated and tired. She smiled every single time she threw one of those fucking things, it was like, yeah, I'm just very impressed by people with such a positive attitude. Go for all these people, and then they're like, Ray? And I'm like, oh, that's me. And as I'm walking up there, I'm like, you have nothing. Like, what are you going to do, buddy? So I come up with the story of the kipper and the whale.
Okay.
Should I do the story? I don't think I'm going to tell it again. Should I just do the story?
If you want to. It's your story.
Yeah, I'll do the story. Fuck it. It's fun, and I probably won't do it ever again, so I might as well get it out.
Go for it.
My people live by the sea, and we listen to the fish, and sometimes they tell us stories. And this story I heard from a sardine the other week. And this story is about a kipper who fell in love with a whale.
Ooh.
So this little kipper, he's there with his kipper mates, and they're all swimming around. He looks off into the deep blue sea, and what does he see? A big blue whale with a big powerful body and its powerful tail and its grey eye. And he looks in the grey eye and he sees a beautiful soul. And in that moment, that kipper fell in love with that blue whale. And he said to his mates, I'm in love with that blue whale, and I'm gonna see if she feels the same way about me. And they looked at him and went, you silly kipper. Every time we go swimming and we all turn at the same time, you're always the last one to turn. You're not even a very good kipper. What's she going to see in a kipper like you? And he goes, well, I don't care. I'm going to go and tell her how I feel, and I'll see what she says. So off he swims with his little tail, working as hard as he can because he's trying to keep up with this big whale because of her big, big tail. And before he knows it, he's surrounded by some sharks. And these sharks surround him and they say, what are you doing, little kipper, all the way out here on your own? And he says, I'm on a love quest. I've fallen in love with that big blue whale that just passed by here, and I'm going to go and see if she feels the same way about me. And the sharks look down at him and they say, silly little kipper. What's she going to see in a little kipper like you? You ain't got big teeth like we have. You don't have thick skins. You can't defend yourself or anything like that like we can. And he says, well, that may be true. I can't defend myself, and I don't have big sharp teeth. But I'm still going to go and let her know and see if she feels the same way about me. So off he swims after her. There was a bit about seeing enemies. I'll keep it brief.
That's great, dude. This is fucking awesome.
So the little kipper swims as fast as he can, and finally he catches up with a big blue whale. And he says, excuse me, Miss Whale. I was there with my kipper mates and I saw you on afar, and I saw your big, beautiful body and your big, powerful tail and your beautiful grey eye. And beyond that, I looked in that eye and I saw a truly beautiful person inside. And I fell in love with you. And I just wanted to come here and let you know and see if maybe you felt the same way about me. And the blue whale looks down at him and she says, and as we all know, that is the blue whale mating call. And they had a love that would be told about for the ages, for it was the purest love there ever was. And I hope all you here listen to this story one day can be as brave as that little kipper, and that you might find a little kipper of your own that falls in love with you the way that kipper fell in love with that whale. It's a fucking good story, isn't it?
It's a great story. Dude, you told it so well. I'm so dude, it was like I was there.
It's fun.
You did it really well. That was fucking awesome.
It was like, I was absolutely shitting it, and then that story just spilled out of me, and it's so cute and so nice, and I fucking love it. And it's they didn't make me. They asked me. There was a song and story thing later on. And I told the story again. Yeah. I love that story. Yeah. It's really fucking cute,
dude. That was fucking great. I loved it.
Yeah. So yeah. Hey, if you're listening to this, feel free to steal that. I don't give a shit. Right. There was also monstering. So different players have like a monster slot.
Okay.
So we had like an 8 o'clock monster slot. So me and Ellie went off and did monstering. I think Callum and Bung were kind of non-comming, so they went home and back and started to cook. But we went round the back.
Right.
And there's all the skirmish crew, right?
Right.
And there is my drow gear.
Amazing.
So I walk up to the guy and I'm like, hey. He's like, you bastard. Yeah. And I'm like, still going to get that luncheon. And he says, I'm going to kill you. Yeah. And I'm like, I've got 3 lives. And I'm going to use every single one of them chasing after that luncheon. You know, like, I also spoke to Hal. It was really nice going behind the curtain and just having a good old chin wag with a bunch of the people.
That's cool.
Really, really nice. Really, really fun. We go off and what were we doing? We were archers. Fuck, I can barely remember what we did. Anyway, we went out there and we basically got ruffle stomped. Yeah, we did get ruffle stomped. Went to the field and like we tried to jump them and then we got demolished. Went back, respawned, went out, got demolished. People were yelling, "Hex, hex, 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 hex." I think that's one of the slight problems with the system is I'm not a huge fan of calls. And when there's like 20 people all yelling hex at the same time and bashing people, it's like, yeah. But still, really, really good. Very safe. Lots of referees on hands. Well run again. We're also like told this is what you're doing. This is why you're here, which I quite liked as well, giving a bit of a brief. We headed back. We were like poop monsters. We had like brown on us. Like we were poop people. I got to fire my bow though in anger. Yeah. Shot a couple of people.
Amazing.
It was nice. We got flanked and absolutely wrecked, but it was good fun, man. That's what
you live for. Just...
So remember I said about the lovely red-headed lady?
Yes.
She's a god.
Right.
Okay. She's a goddess. Yeah. Okay. So
casually having a chat.
Someone mentioned that she was a goddess, and I walked up to her and was like, "Excuse me, Esther, I hear you might be a god." And she was like, "I am." And I was like, "Oh, I don't think I've ever met a god before, well, apart from hell." And then I started chatting to her, and I was like, so we started talking about our fish.
Right.
And she was like, well, I was like, could you bless our fish? And I don't think she could bless them. She could do something else, like empower them or enchant them or something. So Estra enchanted our fish, and it was just like, we could not be happier, by the way. My god, a god has blessed our fucking fish. This is like talk about a way of getting homies on your side. Blessing their fish. Very good. Very good. So we're all a big fan. In the evening, we go off and do there's like the Song and Story pit. People are telling different stories around there. I do my Kipper and the Whale story again. And I think it was before them, but we heard that Estra, someone had tried to assassinate her.
Right.
She had been stabbed.
Is that even possible?
Well, I don't know the details, but someone had stabbed her. I guess like if you have a certain weapon, you can do it. But there were assassins in the camp. And she had to go through the Bifrost. So obviously we're fucking pissed, right? Like we want revenge on that. We didn't find out who did it or get revenge, but that was like, hey, blessed our fish. Yeah. You've just pissed off the rat Falagi. Do you know what I mean? Like we are coming for that revenge.
What is she the god of?
I think it's like, you know, the kind of nature, fertility, spring, like the kind of hopeful.
The good god.
The good god.
Yeah.
The good god.
Good god.
Good god. Yeah, the good god. Also, that really fit with a lot of what we're doing because we're kind of like sea folk, so we kind of respect nature. We're not like...
There's a circle of life to start.
Hey, you also don't take all the fish. Yeah. You take the fish you need, and then
good fisher people.
Yeah, good fisher people, or at least in touch with nature, you know. Yeah. Have a really good time around the fire. Also, reaction to the Kip story. By the way, generally very positive. People came up to me and were really fucking nice about it, so I appreciate it. I think there's always something interesting about performers. How I know I give off shitloads of confidence when you see me do
yeah.
a thing. Inside, I'm like
really nervous,
really scared. I'm like really aware of every time I trip up on a word or do something different. So it was really nice just to get some nice compliments about that. Had some singing around the fire. We run around, have lots of social interactions with people. We head back to the Svart camp,
right?
And we go into the Svart bar.
Right.
And there's like what's believed to be a version of Loki come to the camp.
Okay.
Now it might not be Loki.
Right.
Or it might be Loki.
Okay.
But such is the nature of Loki.
So, I was going to say that's literally how Loki is.
Yeah, so we weren't sure whether it whatever. But we literally go in there and I decide that I'm going to go on a full like raised version of my interaction with the Draugr. And I'm like, well, I first met the Draugr here, and Eddie looked at him, and Eddie didn't like him. But I said to Eddie, hey, let's give him a chance, Eddie. And Eddie was like, no, he doesn't like him at all. So I went up to the old fella, and I said to him, hey, could we... And
the whole story.
The whole... With tangents and bullshit, and just, I'm like... And like, literally, we're making people corpsing and like having a really good time. Anyway, I heard that if it Loki or not Loki... quite liked me because I was chaotic and like quite liked the Rat Flaggy in general because of how chaotic we were. So making friends with gods, hey, never a bad thing.
That's great.
Well, it could be a bad thing.
Yeah.
So Sunday rolls around, and bear in mind we've had a lovely time doing nothing.
Right.
With barely, but we went on a one combat encounter, which was a monstering.
Yeah.
We're really not like running around trying to engage in plot, despite plot being all around us and people trying to give us plot. We're like, this is going to be our
casual LARP.
This is going to be our chill out LARP, right? We're just going to go and do a lot of like role play, character work, enjoy ourselves, and have a good time. And people really responded to that, by the way. So we also had a meeting with the Free Folk. Really cool lore with the Free Folk. So it's basically communism. We is communism.
Right.
So we have meetings and we have vote on things, and that's like it's a group decision.
Yeah.
We needed a representative because the Svarts wanted a representative to kind of speak on the behalf of the Free Folk.
Okay.
So we had to do a vote for that, and it was really good. We have a system where if you're nominated and voted, it doesn't matter if you can't. I want to do that. No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You have to be nominated, and even if you don't want to be nominated and you're nominated and you get voted in, you still have to do it.
Right. Okay.
So it's like, so we had a really good thing. There was some really nice back and forths. People getting angry. People putting giving their 2 cents in. Really good RP. Really, really nice. Really. I know it's towards the end of the weekend, but it really settled me into the idea of being part of the Free Folk.
Sure.
You know, that like. I do what I want, which is something I say in real life, by the way. I do whatever I want all the time. It's kind of a joke I do, but like we do what we want, right? That's what we want, right? And it's kind of cool. Really enjoyed interacting with those. Can't wait to kind of hang out and get to know the Free Folk better and interact with that. Oh my god, Wolfie.
Yeah,
with everyone doing these competitions, okay.
Yeah,
Wolfie has been smashing it. He's won like 3 competitions.
Wow.
He's doing really, really well. They have like kids competitions as well, by the way.
Sure.
But Wolfie's absolutely smashed it. He's been so well behaved all weekend. Really engaging with the game. Really having a good time. So some of the Svart, who make up an elite military unit, honour him by being the first elf to be a honorary member of this elite guard unit.
First non-elf to be.
Yeah. And so all the free folk are there, all the Svart are there, and we form a big circle, and we just cheer this little lad on. They gave him like armor he could wear, so he has a special ability. Oh
That's
my
awesome.
god,
That's so wholesome.
It was so fucking wholesome. It was so nice. Wolfie's parents were really nice. They were both there, the mum and they were just really nice people. But it was so cool to see like a little lad just doing really well and being honoured for it, and I'm getting choked up. There were some tears.
Big feels.
There were some big tears going around, man. It was just really, really nice. Also, I really liked the way that there was kind of like a few kids there, but they were kind of like, there were certain things where, like, I think in one of the huts near where we were, there was like, no man or woman can go in this area.
Yeah.
But the loophole for that is the younglings can go.
Okay.
And they have like puppets in there, and the puppets talk to them.
Amazing.
Like,
that's cool.
Dude, I wish I was 6. Like, and my parents were cool and took me to LARP.
Dude,
like,
when you see like imagine if we discovered LARP earlier in life and it was as cool as it is now. I mean, it's just like when I go to Empire and I look at like the kids and stuff, and all the fun they're having.
I want to make babies, just so I can take them to work,
yeah,
right?
It's so
and
good.
live vicariously through them, right?
Yeah.
Like that'd be amazing. We hang out in the camp for a bit. It was just a nice time. Then we have the final big showdown battle thing.
Okay.
There's cool stuff. Like halfway through the weekend, there was like a mass strike down.
Okay.
So referees all went around and said there was a mass strike down, and we all fall down on the floor, but don't know why.
Wow. Okay.
Like there's like a hammer, like you know Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
What's it called? Neomir or whatever.
Oh, Mjolnir.
Mjolnir.
Yeah.
So yeah, something happened with that and made everyone fall down. Like
that's
that.
incredible. That's really cool. That's really
Loads of little stuff like this, dude.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. Also, like, things are happening in the world. You're all affected by this. It's fucking cool. Yeah. Anyway, I'll stop rabbiting on. But the go to the final battle.
Yeah.
They have a showdown between the people that won,
right.
Which wasn't us, by the way.
Right.
Had a group of 20 versus the Draugr 20. I'm like waving at my Draugr friend. And they have a big old dust up. I think we won. I'm pretty sure we won. Anyway, we're all hanging out watching this. Well, like literally lying on the grass having a lovely time. Then Hell, and there's like Hell's daughter. Oh my god, I haven't even taught. I've missed out a bunch of stuff to do with like Hell's minions, Hell's partners there.
Yeah.
Her daughter's there. I'm talking to the partner who never stops moving, is always walking. So whenever you're talking to them, you have to literally follow them and talk to them. And I was talking to them about, excuse me, I go through the whole Eddie thing, and I'm trying to like, could you maybe have a word for me, and bloody blah blah, and all this stuff. I also talked to Esther about that. I talked to every single god or powerful person I could do about trying to have a luncheon, by the way.
Amazing.
Anyway, so Hell, there's some conversation. I wasn't next to it, but then Hell is like betrayal,
right?
Like either we did something happened where someone in the camp or something had happened where we had betrayed the deal, and then she would yell, and then everyone would have a mass strike down.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's like this kind of like. And she kept like, or was it screaming or whatever? But everyone had to fall over. And it was like really cool, this idea that there's this fucking
shockwave, right?
Deity, and it makes everyone fall over. Anyway, she's pissed, and then sets the Draugr on us. We have a big old fight with the Draugr. My Draugr comes running over and tries to murder us. So I knew in that moment that he cares.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't have come straight for us if he didn't.
Right, yeah.
So only
getting through to him.
It only made me feel like I just need to keep on going, and I'm going to get that luncheon.
Plug away.
So we had a big old fight. I shot some people. Shooting people with arrows is a really good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I want to say about that. Archers after the battle. Everyone collected arrows up. We give them to a Valkyrie. We started swapping them among the other archers. There is an archer homie thing, which I saw, which is kind of bullshit, but really nice when you're part of it. And
It's all just jealousy, really.
Also, I found that you don't have to run around as much. It's a lot less intense.
Yeah.
Like, if your fitness levels aren't all there, archery is a really good option to take to the field and still feel like you're being useful. Like,
also, it's just the way you view the battle as it's progressing, because you're not, I've said this a bunch of times, but you're not on the front line. Mm-hmm. And when you're on the front line, you've only really got the 6 inches in front of your face.
Yeah.
Right?
fight for those inches. Yeah. The
but when you're kind of like hanging back on the second line, right? You kind of can see things
more.
Really, you can influence more, right?
Oh man, like you could watch the whole battle, watch flanking actions, enjoy other people fighting.
You can be a lot more tactical, and that's actually what I enjoy. Like most of the time when I'm actually in a battle, I'm just helping move forces. Like literally, it's more like the archery component is actually often secondary to what I do. A lot of the time, I'm just helping make people aware there's a danger here. Let's go and sort that out, or just watch your side, or something like that. It's like all that you can do.
Yeah, really fun. I did forget one thing as well, that Ellie's character Minnow could give us this power. Right. So she does the rune thing and then spreads blue paint on our faces, and then it gives us a it's like they can't attack us. They can defend, cool. But we get a few seconds, so it's a nice get out of jail free card. Right. I can't remember what the call is called right now.
Sure.
Yeah. Beyond Ragnarok is an excellent LARP.
It sounds really good.
Yeah.
Sounds really good.
I went there just to go, say I went, never go back again. Yeah. I am working the weekend for the next one.
Sure.
I'm going to try and get a shift swap if I can. I just want to thank the people that are involved in running it.
Yeah.
The player base, the NPCs. I was so impressed. And I hope that comes across in this episode, that how...
it sounds really good. Actually, you talking about it's got me kind of thinking about it. It sounds hype as fuck.
It's really hype, dude.
Yeah.
Also, bear in mind, we're playing silly kind of comedy type characters.
No, I like that. To be honest, the performance-led sort of stuff is kind of what I do.
It's kind of fun, right? But there were serious characters there. There's people with lots of getting into the game of dealing with gods and power and abilities, and there's a tech tree and a bunch of shit. I liked it. The kind of resource game didn't seem anywhere near as important. It seems like something that you're kind of opting into, and you don't feel hard pressed to do anything. There's a lot less of a barter system. Everything's a barter system, so it's not based on coin. It was excellent. Oh, they had a really good well-being team to make sure that everyone was happy and healthy. They do 3 events per year. It's run by a group called Meta Games.
Right.
But if you Google Beyond Ragnarok, you'll probably be able to find them and get a ticket. But
sure.
Baller.
Yeah, it sounds fucking great.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah. Really annoying. Really annoying. But I think we'll kind of close things out. Oh, let's do some patrons. Yeah. I need to come up with a roll. We have 11 patrons now, which is good. But if we could get one more, that'd be really helpful. So we could roll the D12. No. I'll do a roll D11 online.
Oh, okay.
Roll D11.
Cool.
One more patron would be really handy, so we could roll dice again. Roll the D11. 6.
Jason Lesser.
Jason Lesser, thank you very much for your support. We really appreciate it. Obviously, I'm doing an awful lot of LARPs at the moment.
You are.
It helps us keep the lights on. It helps take some of the sting out of mileage.
It's all the petrol money and stuff like that.
Yeah,
right?
very much so. Yeah. Also, congratulations to Bung for releasing his episode.
I know, it was so... that was a complete surprise to me.
We've been talking about it for a while. But
no, it was really nice, and I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. I want more Bung if you're listening.
More Bung. If you see Bung, actively encourage him.
Yeah, he did a cracking job.
Yeah.
Now, did you have
any
phrase at Beyond Ragnarok that you can close it out with?
I think I'm just going to close with, I hope you all out there find your kipper.